Hello, everybody. Good morning or good evening, depending upon the time when you are watching this video. Before we start, I like to tell you that this video is made for educational purpose only. So, if you apply knowledge gained from this video for any kind of illegal activities, then you are solely liable for the consequences. Further, all the technical aspects shown in the video are done in a controlled environment. So if you want to try it on your own, then my suggestion is that you watch whole video, understand the basic, and then apply that knowledge. Let's start. So let's assume one fine morning you receive this email from WhatsApp. So it says that congratulations on winning lottery amount of USD 25,000. Please download the file from here. Okay, this is the URL link and install it to receive instruction to claim your winning amount. As you can see, this is a phishing email. Why? Because first thing is WhatsApp does not conduct any kind of lottery program. Okay, there are a lot of scams going on regarding this. And also, if you look at this email, there are lots of grammatical error. So have you wondered why there are lots of grammatical mistakes in phishing email? The main reason is that the scammers want to target only naive and greedy victims. Okay, so if you are a conscious user, you will look at these grammatical mistakes and you will search for this domain name and you will say that okay, this is a phishing email and I should disregard this. But if someone is naive, okay, they don't know about this kind of scams, and further they are like greedy, or let's say they are in need of money, they just look at the amount only. They don't care about the other red flags, and they immediately click this URL link, right? So let's see what happens when the user decides to click this link and download the malware and install it. Okay, now let's download this file. Okay, so this is a very simple demonstration. In real life this can be very complicated, however the method is very similar. So now the victim has downloaded this file. You will extract to a folder. So now the victim has this file. Okay, okay, so you can see here logo of WhatsApp and other bunch of random files, which victim is not concerned, because he is more concerned on getting that reward amount. He is more eager to click this and install the file. So before we click on this, I'm going to tell you what is going to happen here. So this is the folder. Okay, so there are some files, and these are so I have labeled these files as important files. So in this file there is some random text like text containing that this is a confidential document. Okay, this is a image, and this is a another document and another important file. So our ransomware will encrypt these three files but will not harm this image file, because I have written the program in such a way. Later in this video I will show you that code also. Okay, so now victim is ready to install that file. Watch carefully what will happen once the victim click this exe file. So you can see three things have just happened here. The background has been changed, right? Now the wallpapers is giving the victim hint that his computer is if has been affected with ransomware, right? Just let me minimize this, right? Now this is a ransom note, right? It is giving you the instruction regarding how to decrypt that encrypted file. And this is usually in ransomware, attacker usually demand payment through Bitcoin. So maybe some victim may not know about the Bitcoin. So this site has been popped up to explain victim what is the Bitcoin is all about, right? And how to make payment to the victim if he wants his important files back. And regarding that file, let's see what happened to it. So yeah, the previously these were our important files, so let's look at them. Now you can see these files have been encrypted, right? The image is intact, however other files have been encrypted. Okay, now let's look at ransom note. So even if you close this ransom note, it will pop up after every 10 seconds. So let's look at the what ransom note says. Okay, so you have to first in order to decrypt that data, first you need to send this email.txt to to the email address of attacker. After installing this ransomware from that exe file, now the email me txt has been. This is the actually public key which needs to be sent to the attacker, from which he will be able to generate private key and send it back to the victim after the payment of ransomware. So the public key and private key comes under asymmetric encryption. If you don't know about it, you can search online to know more about this type of encryption. So the second stage is so you will receive a personal BTC address for the payment. So this will be sent by the attacker via email, right? Once payment has been made, you need to send the another email to the attacker stating that the amount has been paid, and after that you will receive the text file to your key, right? That will unlock your files. Hi, this is Kiran Kumar Shah. Before we dive deep into the content of this video, I like to thank you all for watching this video. And if you have made this far, I can safely assume that you have found this video useful enough. The sole purpose of creating this channel was to combine my knowledge of cybersecurity, data science, email safety, and other risk management areas to generate some kind of viable solution that you may apply in your day-to-day job to reduce cybersecurity risk, email safety risk, or other compliance risk in your organization. So in order to help my channel grow, please like and share the video if you have found it useful, and also subscribe to my channel so that you will never miss any useful content that I will be creating in future also. And now let's start with our video, and keep watching till the end. There are a lot of interesting things that you can learn from here. So I'll see you at the end of the video. Let's look at what we are going to learn in this video. We'll start with the short history of ransomware and what ransomware is all about. Let's look at what we are going to learn in this video. We'll start with the history of ransomware, how it started, and we'll also talk about and what ransomware is. Why ransomware? We'll also talk about why ransomware is so dangerous. We'll also look at how how uh, how money laundering is done by attackers for the ransomware payment received from their victim. We'll also look at the new terminology, ransomware as a service. So if you are making the ransomware payment and you think that everything will be all right, guess what? There might be some legal implication if you send ransomware payment to the sanctioned bodies, right? And you need to be aware of this, otherwise you may have to suffer legal liabilities. We'll also talk about some ransomware red flags that as a financial institution you may need to watch for. Then we'll also look at some ransomware attack mitigation which might help you to prevent any kind of ransomware attacks in your organization. So the first ransomware was circulated around 1990s. It was known as AIDS ransomware. They were transmitted through floppy disk. So when this floppy disk was booted, it presented quiz which basically asked question and the result told whether the user were in the danger of contracting HIV AIDS or not. After completing the quiz, the virus encrypted the files and malware locked the computer and presented a message. So this is the message, right? And the message requested the payment for leasing the software. So you may be wondering why AIDS, right? Why people were filling up that quiz. The AIDS incident increased rapidly through 1980s and peaked in the early 1990s, right? So you can see from the graph over here. AIDS became the leading cause of death for all Americans ages 25 to 44 years old, and it was easy for attackers to take the advantages of human psychology. This is why the people fell for this kind of ransomware attack. So this was a very basic version of ransomware. It did not actually encrypt the contents of file but only changed the extension. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Okay, let me go to this folder. So this is an image file, right? And you can see that this is an image file because it has a .jpg extension. Now what this malware did was it actually changes the extension of this file to something else. So can write txt for example. Okay, so after changing the extension of this file name, you can see that the logo of the file name has changed. Now this file is now in an encrypted form, right? You can see from here you cannot access you cannot now access the original image. So yeah, you could restore these file names by just changing its extension back to the original, right? But imagine doing this for lot of files, then it will be laborious, right? So it was much better option to make the ransomware payment. Now let's look at what ransomware is all about. So ransom, as the definition, this definition is given by the FinCEN. So ransomware is a form of malicious software, or you can say it is a malware designed to block access to a computer system or a data, often often by encrypting data or programs on IT system to extort ransomware payments from victims in exchange for decrypting the information and restoring victims' access to the system. So ransomware is a combination of two things, right? Ransom plus malware, right? So it is a malware to encrypt the contents or files or valuable data in your system so that hackers can extort ransomware payments out of those victims. Further, beside encrypting information, perpetrators threaten to publish sensitive files belonging to the victim. So obviously you can imagine how much reputation damage this could do to any business. And further, if it is a trade secrets, then business will lose its competitive advantage. Moreover, cyber criminals are also targeting additional parties related to the initial victim, such as victims' business partners and customers. This usually comes under supply chain risk, right? An attacker usually attack that link with a poor cyber security hygiene. So meaning to say is that nobody is safe. Ransomware is a highly prevalent cybersecurity attack, as you can see from this news headline. In 2020, the reported loss was exceeding 4.1 billion. This represents a 69% increase in the total ransomware attacks. The number of ransomware incidents also continues to rise, with 2,474 incidents reported in 2020 in US alone, which represent about 20% increase in the number of incidents and a 225% increase in a ransomware demands. These are the ransomware variants that have been the mostly frequently reported to FBI in the attacks. So yeah, these are the different types of ransomware attack which have been terrorizing lots of organization all over the world. And this is another important topic that we are going to discuss here. So we are discussing how the victim makes ransom payment and how this ransom payment goes through different stages until it reaches to attacker. So usually ransomware payment is demanded in the form of convertible virtual currency. So Bitcoin, Ethereum are some of the example of convertible virtual currency. So what does convertible virtual currency means? So convertible virtual currency is a cryptocurrency that can be traded for fiat currencies, or the fiat currencies are the currencies like USD, Euro, which are backed by central government. A ransomware victim usually, let me bring my pen, right? So a ransomware victim will typically transfer funds via wire transfer, automated clearinghouse, or credit card payment to CBC exchange, right? CBC exchange is also known as crypto exchange, such as Coinbase, Binance, In order to purchase the type and the amount of convertible virtual currency, convertible virtual currency specified by the ransomware attacker. Beside victim, an entity working on the victim behalf can also send convertible virtual currency. They can be digital forensic and investigating response, which are the third party cybersecurity company hired to negotiate with the cyber criminal and facilitate payment to the cyber criminal and investigate the source of cybersecurity breach. Or they can be CIC or cyber insurance company. They issue policy designed to mitigate an entity losses from the variety of cyber incident such as data breaches, business interruption, and network damage. This CIC may reimburse policyholders in case of such ransomware attack. The victim has to make payment to the wallet of the attacker, usually maintained in this kind of CBC exchanges. The perpetrator or attacker then launders the fund through the various means, including mixer, tumblers, and chain hopping. To convert the funds into other CVCs. A Bitcoin mixture is a service that allows Bitcoin users to mix their coins with other users' coins in order to make it harder to trace the origin of their coins. This can be useful for an attacker who wants to maintain their privacy or avoid having their transaction linked to their identity. The way it works is that Mixer takes in a user's Bitcoin and sends back a different set of Bitcoin from its pool of mixed coins. This process can make it more difficult for someone to trace the transaction back to the original user. Now the attacker will break down received ransomware amount into various number of small amount known as smurfing. Then after, attacker will employ numerous people who will deposit that amount into different convertible virtual currency addresses maintained at various crypto exchange or peer-to-peer exchanges like Paxful, where they can easily convert that Bitcoin into dollars, euro, or any other currency of their choosing. While talking about Paxful is a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency marketplace where users can buy and sell cryptocurrency directly with other users. The platform provides a way for people to buy and sell Bitcoin using a variety of payment methods, including bank transfer, credit debit cards, and digital wallets such as PayPal, Skrill, and so on. Here, if attacker is smart, he can avoid all of this by asking victim to pay in anonymity enhanced cryptocurrency such as Monero or Gcash. Anonymity enhanced cryptocurrency are digital currency designed to protect users' privacy and anonymity. These cryptocurrencies use advanced cryptographic techniques to hide users' identities, transaction, and other sensitive information. They are based on the technology like mixture, where multiple transactions are mixed together, making it difficult for outsider to determine which inputs transaction are linked to which output transaction. As a result, it is nearly impossible to trace Monero transaction back to their origin. Now let's look at the interesting terminology in ransomware. Ransomware as a service. It is like ransomware criminals forming partnership and sharing resources. Many cyber criminals engage in a profit sharing through a ransomware as a service business model, in which ransomware developers sell or otherwise deliver ransomware software to individuals or groups that have separately gained illicit access to the victim network. As a part of profit sharing agreement, the ransomware as a service developer often receives a percentage of any ransom paid by the victim. There are some provisions that you need to be aware of if you are making ransom payments, especially if you are located in a United States, or if you are a US person or entities operating in United States jurisdiction. FBI strongly discourages paying ransomware to criminal attacks because the payment does not always guarantee that files will be recovered, nor does it ensure protection from any kind of future breaches. The payment may also encourage adversaries to target additional organizations as well as other criminal actors to engage in the distribution of malware and fund other illicit activities. Regardless of whether you or your organization decide to pay the ransom, you need to inform law enforcement agency. Doing so provides the law enforcement agency with the critical information needed to help victims track ransomware attackers, hold attackers accountable under prevailing law, and share information to prevent future attacks. These two are the provisions, especially this one, that is specifically applicable if you are a US resident or any entities operating in a US area, right? So US persons are generally prohibited from engaging in any transaction directly or indirectly with individuals or entities on OFAC's specifically designated nationals and blocked person list or SDN list, as well as those covered by the comprehensive country or region embargoes such as Cuba, Crimea region of Ukraine, Iran, North Korea, and Syria. So OFAC may impose civil penalties for sanction violation based on the strict liability, meaning that a person subject to US jurisdiction may be held civilly liable even if such person did not know or have reason to know that he was engaging in the transaction that was prohibited under sanction laws and regulation administered by OFAC. So this is the reason why you need to report ransomware attacks as soon as possible, so that you or victim may also increase the likelihood of recovering access to their data through other means such as alternative decryption tools, and in some circumstances may be able to recover some of the ransomware payment. This provision is specifically applicable if you are a financial institution operating in United States. So OFAC regulation requires, if a US entity determines that they hold virtual currency that is required to be blocked pursuant to OFAC regulation, then that US person must deny all parties access to that virtual currency. So here virtual currency is linked with the ransomware payment. So let's talk about ransomware financial red flags. So the financial institution should be aware about these red flags while conducting any transaction on the behalf of customers. Actually, these red flags are given in the FinCEN advisory on ransomware attack. Let me show you that PDF file. So you can see here, these are the financial red flag indicators of ransomware and associate payment. So I will give you the link in the description section below to download this file, and you can go through this document on your own. In this document there are a lot of useful information regarding ransomware and how the ransomware payment moves from victim to the attacker. So in this video I am going to explain only those red flags which are very important, which are indicative that the amount belongs to ransomware payment. Okay, let's look at the first red flag. But before that, there is no single financial red flag which is indicator of any illicit or suspicious activity. Financial institutions should consider the relevant facts and circumstances of each transaction. Also, in order to detect these red flags, financial institutions need to invest on some technical aspects, because the ransomware is linked with malicious cyber activity which is evident in system log files, network traffic or file information. So they need to take help of IT or information security department while building transaction scenario monitoring to detect such ransomware activities in their organization. While going through the first point, if your institution maintain convertible virtual cryptocurrency addresses for the customers, then you need to screen that addresses from time to time to check if that addresses is linked to any kind of ransomware incident or not. So there are a lot of vendors who provide such automated screening tool. Second point is, when building your transaction monitoring system, you should always prioritize monitoring the transaction of such organization which are usually the target for which are high target for ransomware, such as education, health and government sectors. Analyzing behavior of customer. So for example, a customer with a limited knowledge of cryptocurrency comes to your organization and wants to place a purchase order of high amount of these convertible cryptocurrencies, then it might suggest that this customer is a victim of a ransomware attack and he is purchasing those cryptocurrency to make payment to the ransomware attackers. Unusually high volume of transaction. So this is a straightforward red flag. So if you observe in any customer account there is a high volume of cryptocurrency related transaction, then that account should be treated as a suspicious. Now let's look at this fifth point. So if a customer sends his convertible virtual currency to foreign located convertible virtual currency exchange in a high risk jurisdiction which is lacking or known to have a inadequate AML safety regulation for such CVC exchange, then that is a big no, right? You need to immediately report such transaction. Rapid trades among the multiple CVC. So let's say if a customer receives CVC or convertible virtual cryptocurrency from an external wallet, immediately converts that cryptocurrency into another cryptocurrency or AECs, anonymity enhanced cryptocurrency, without any proper reason, then this means that the customer is trying to perform layering by converting those received cryptocurrency, which may be the ransom payment, to other virtual currencies. Now this is a straightforward red flag. So if a customer initiates the transfer of fund to any kind of mixing services like Tumblr, then this is a huge red flag. This clearly means that customer is trying to hide the origin of currency, hence it should be reported immediately. Now regarding filing STR, you need to take care while filing STR related to ransomware attack. So when filing STR, financial institutions should provide all the available information in str form as well as in narrative. The valuable cyber indicators for law enforcement investigation for ransomware can include relevant email addresses, internet protocol addresses with their respective timestamps, login information with location and timestamps, CVC wallet address, mobile device information such as device international mobile equipment identity or IMEI numbers, malware hashes, malicious domains, and description and timing of suspicious electronic communications. So, regarding malware hashes, there is this site. So here you can search the malware hashes of any malware, including ransomware variants. And that's it for this video, but we are not done yet. In the next video, I will walk you through how to decrypt our encrypted files that I showed you earlier in this video. Then I will show you the actual ransomware code that I have used in this tutorial. I will also explain you the different pieces of that code and what function it performs. We'll also discuss about different mitigation technique to prevent ransomware attack in your organization. So there are a lot of interesting stuff coming in the next video. So please subscribe this channel to never miss any updates or those useful contents. And please do share and like this video if you found it useful and think that it might be beneficial for others. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.